on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is your NXT Great American Bash and Saturday night's main event preview, and that is Jake fucking DeMARCO. What's going on, bud?
What's going on, my friend? That's right. Big night indeed for us to preview. There's a lot ahead of us this weekend. 4 shows, a lot of matches. I'm surprised that All in Texas doesn't have 50 matches. They've only got 8 announced so far. I wonder if they add any more tonight. SmackDown
So many
is definitely going
matches,
to
so
add.
wonderful, so fantastic.
SmackDown's adding a couple to Saturday night's main event because we only got 3, as we'll get into. But Great American Bash really filled out the card last night. I feel like they made Evolution important as well. I liked the brawl at the end. What did you think?
I like the brawl at the end. I mean, we're going to be doing one more pod this week about Evolution. I think it deserves its own pod, and it's the biggest card that WWE's given us this weekend. So I'm going to try and not step on our toes for tomorrow. The brawl was fun. Nice seeing people from the main roster there as well. Natalia being there, and apparently the new thing is people are calling her Nat Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't think that helps anybody.
No.
But we just need to see what's it called? Bloodsport Natalia.
Yeah, no kidding. So,
but no, it was pretty good. It was like odds and sods and whoever felt like showing up, like Ivy Niles, Zelina Vega, Maxine Dupree, and Natalia.
They had everybody coming out, it seems like.
Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Like to be fair, Stephanie Vacour and Julia was kind of cool mixing it up. It was a combination of let's preview the battle royal, but let's throw the other people that are in other matches in the brawl as well.
Yeah.
A little bit messy, but it is what it is, and we've got some stuff to talk about. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna do Saturday night's main event first because I kind of want to get it out of the way.
I don't blame you at all. There's only a few matches, and that's
I know I've said this to you a bunch of times since last week, but I want to see the stuff that's happening on this show, but simultaneously, I don't care about this show.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to because as we're gonna get into with the main event. I mean, it's kind of foregone conclusion in a sense. Like no matter which way they go with it, it doesn't matter. If Gunther wins, so be it. If Goldberg wins, so be it. Like there's no interest there. I don't care if Goldberg wins. I don't care if Goldberg loses. It's definitely the main event.
I think by leaning on the fact that it's his last match, you're kind of telegraphing that it's not going to be a title change or whatever, but I don't care. There's a bit of me that's I know I just said I want to see it, but I don't care. There's a little bit of me that's what was the last thing Goldberg did? Probably a Saudi show. They're in Atlanta. They want to give him one final hurrah, one final exhibition, if you want to call it that. I'm okay with it. Let it be whatever it's gonna be. I'll enjoy it for what it is in the moment. I don't really care right now, and I won't care afterwards. But I don't begrudge him having one last hurrah. And I mean, is he in the Hall of Fame already or something? I don't know.
I always forget.
It's weirdly a cool thing for Gunther to have.
2019, 2018, something like that. I'll double check, but
it's not a Hall of Fame resume thing, but it is something to have on Gunther's belt when you consider I'm pretty sure he's doing something with Punk soon. So it's a
2018 he went in. So
okay.
I knew he was in. I just couldn't remember when. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a thing that's happening. Gunther's as good as anybody else. A lot of people have hit over the head the fact that Big E wanted it to be him, but obviously he's not in a condition to do so right now, which is super unfortunate. Just as far as it's something he wanted. It's like when Xavier Woods won King of the Ring. Is King of the Ring this big magical fantastic thing? No, but we knew for so long that specifically Xavier Woods wanted to be King of the Ring, wanted it to come back and whatever. I'm gonna watch it. It's a nostalgia thing. It's let's try to give this guy a send off. It's not taking up any space on a proper pay-per-view. It's relatively inoffensive, but it's also predictable as hell. So it's not very good preview fodder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing here. when you go through it, I mean, WWE is going, quantity over quality lately, and especially with this weekend. That's why people are upset. They're calling Evolution like an abject failure, but I don't look at it that way. I mean, they've got so many seats already sold for Saturday night's main event in Atlanta at
Mhm,
the same arena. You
mhm.
know what I mean? Like they're going to be at the State Farm Arena for Evolution the next day. These tickets are not cheap. How many shows are you
No.
supposed to be able to go to? How many things are you supposed to be able to attend? How much are you supposed
Well,
to
it's
be able
supposed
to
to be
do?
the idea is supposed to be if you get a package ticket, it makes each individual ticket cheaper. Like, you're not going to go to 2 shows and expect to pay the cost of 1,
No,
but
no doubt, but
ideally, with the package and all that kinda thing, I
sadly,
don't
it
think
really didn't make it much cheaper when I looked at it. And then they're doing the same
okay,
thing where they're going to New Jersey, like East Rutherford for SmackDown, and then nearby for Raw after and
yeah.
before SummerSlam, and that entire package. It was basically like no difference in buying group tickets versus single show.
But see, I don't think, like and I'm splitting hairs here, and I know that. I don't think the quantity over quality like, if you think you're just getting too much wrestling, fine, I'm not gonna bother having that discussion with people anymore. But as far as like, "Oh my god, how can they expect these wrestlers to do 3 or 4 shows?" Well, they're not. The NXT guys are having a show. The men of the main roster, a couple of them are putting together a Saturday night's main event, and the women of the main roster have their own night the next night. So it's like the entirety of WWE is having one show.
Yeah, did
It's
you
just
hear that they're
happening in
misogynistic because they're forcing the women to be on, PLE version, and the network is getting the all men card so far, highlighted by
oh my
Goldberg.
fucking god. You can't get anything.
Yeah, I wish I was exaggerating and being
No,
hyperbolic, but it's
here's the
true,
thing.
sadly.
Here's the thing, right? And we might as well get this out of the way now because I want to be more positive when we talk about evolution tomorrow, right? Here's the thing. People need to pick a side and people need to pick an argument because all the arguments are stupid, right? The people that are like bitching on behalf of AEW are specifically calling out evolution and their poor ticket sales. It's like, oh, that's what you get for trying to counter AEW. Evolution is the only card that's not countering AEW and like the whole like
It was put there in
feminist
place to
rights,
make
like
AEW
yeah.
not want to move to a Sunday just in case, but
Eh,
in
I don't
theory,
think they not I don't think they would care them. But the other side of the coin is as well, is you got, like, either actual feminists or, like, white knight dudes and whatever who are twice as obnoxious that are saying, "Oh, they're setting up the women to fail. They're putting them up against all this stuff." And it's like, "This is the night where there's no other wrestling.
yeah,
What the
there is no
fuck are you talking
competition.
about?"
At least they're giving them not the night where they're up against everything else. At least
"Oh,
they
well,
are giving them the chance to shine.
they put them up against Beyonce." And it's like,
I
"Okay,
just
what
think
are we supposed
the
to"
ticket thing is unfair. I think that because
Fair.
they're already in trying to push Goldberg's, and they also didn't book this show forever. They really didn't. I mean,
Mm.
my goodness, they gave us
But, like,
nothing for a long time here. They made us
you're
basically
talking about
go nuts.
Evolution.
Yeah, they made us
Okay,
wait for that card for weeks on end. So I
put a pin in that because
well,
I'm
we'll be
going to have
positive tomorrow, as you said.
yeah,
We'll head
yeah, yeah.
into it to
No, no, no.
positive. So I'm
Because
airing my
and I'm
grievances
gonna come at it
now.
I'm gonna come at it from a positive point of view. Put a pin in that argument. Remind me on tomorrow night's pod. I have a response for that.
Oh, I
But I
will.
know we are constricted for time a little bit tonight. Um, Gunther's not losing his title. LA Knight's losing to Seth and company. The only one that's I mean, unless you have an argument otherwise, the
I
only
think
one that really
Goldberg
leaks
might win. I'm not so sure that I mean in a realm I could see Gunther winning here and then going to SummerSlam as the guy that beat Goldberg in his last match, and then whoever faces him there to put over. But who's next in line? Seth, and that's not. He's got the money in the bank. Does he cash in? There's a lot of like here.
that's the only way I see Goldberg winning is if Seth is cashing in
Yeah,
immediately.
realistically, I see Gunther just going out and he's gonna win. He's gonna beat Goldberg, but the fan in me wants to see the cash in. So I envision
Yeah,
Goldberg beating Gunther and then Seth having to cash in, because what do they do with the title? Unless they make you tune in and they do something with it at SummerSlam, this is still his last match.
yeah.
I don't want to see it vacated. That would be silly. So they would have to do the
My
cash
thing
in.
is I I want as much as I want CM Punk to be champion, I want the cash in to happen at SummerSlam because I'm pretty sure that they're doing Gunther CM Punk at SummerSlam. And with the story of Seth and with Seth just building and building and building his army with rumors of one more to come, as much as I want CM Punk to be champion, I want Seth Rollins to cash in on CM Punk,
See,
fuel the angry CM Punk
well,
character.
here's the thing that makes this interesting. As much as CM Punk does want revenge in some way, like he's beaten Seth each time. What makes that interesting for them to face off then? A title, right? One of the plans
Mm,
that I initially was reading about and was talking about was Seth Rollins, the champion, after cashing in here, defending against CM Punk at one of the nights of SummerSlam. And I can see that being why they have a match of a title match. More realistically, it's probably going to be a multi-man match with Roman Reigns. I don't
mhm.
necessarily. I think we're going to get the return of Roman on Saturday. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Seth is going to beat the hell out of LA Knight with the bronze coming out and helping him at the end.
Mm.
Like LA Knight will about to maybe get a victory, and then they'll get the interference, a bunch of
I kinda
heel
wanna see
heat.
LA Knight I wanna see LA Knight and Braun Breaker cutting promos on each other because after the promo we got from Braun Breaker this week,
Oh
it was
yeah.
kinda going off the rails a little bit, but yeah.
And
But
I
my
like
thing
that
is
they set that up. It just I think the whole plan is that so Roman comes back and they're going to have the multi-man match. I mean, but if Seth cashes in and you end up getting Seth and Punk for a title, that's the only way I see them having another match, because we've seen Seth and Punk so many times now, and Punk
but
has been
to your point,
victorious each time.
and it's a great point, Punk has been victorious each time, so if Seth's gonna get revenge on him, wouldn't he want it to be the biggest, what do you wanna say, like, platform possible?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I get
so
it.
this year's SummerSlam, and it's the first year that they're doing it 2 nights. You know they're gonna treat it like a second WrestleMania. So throw CM Punk on the main event of one of those nights. CM Punk, not exactly a young guy himself anymore, manages to topple the monster that is Gunther, and we go off the air with CM Punk 13 years later finally getting his hands on a title. Wasn't able to make it to the Mania, wasn't able to make it because he got injured at the Rumble, topples somebody like Gunther in the main event of what might as well be a WrestleMania, finally has his hand on the title, and on that largest platform, the biggest platform we can have that's not WrestleMania, that's when Rollins gets his victory. And I mean,
Yeah.
then yeah, you do the match afterwards, but like you say, Rollins needs a victory that's more than just, oh, I happen to pin you this time.
You
And I
want
think that
the sound effects are broken gun to my head right now. This is what I think is absolutely going to happen, and I'm going to have to reiterate later on what I think will happen. But there's a bunch of crazy scenarios. But giving you the straight up, I think LA Knight loses. I think Roman comes back here and Seth doesn't cash in. Gunther wins, and I also think that Drew and Randy, we're going to have Drew win here.
yeah, I don't know what to do with the Drew Randy thing, only because Drew just
It was
came
so thrown
back.
together. It was just
Yeah,
like, I know they have history, they could do it, but
it's a match I want to see. They're two big guys. They're gonna go beat the shit out of each other. They're not gonna lean on that too much when they have Gunther and Goldberg probably main eventing this show, if nothing else, right? If you got Roman though, the only thing is Roman and Punk were never on the same page when in the lead up to the triple threat match when they involved Punk in the war games and all that. If the one thing that brings Roman and Punk together is how much they were fucked over by Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman at WrestleMania, and they decide between the two of them that they're not going to let it happen again. And Seth Rollins becomes one of the few to fail a cash in. Seth Rollins, so obsessed, so focused on CM Punk that he's going to do this big moment that I just talked about, like on the
yeah.
big stage, Roddy Roddy Rob. He's finally going to get his victory. He's finally going to get one up on CM Punk. Cashes in, eats a spear from Roman who comes out of the crowd or something like that.
Yeah.
Then you branch off. Then you branch off Roman and Rollins, maybe move Rollins to SmackDown, and you keep CM Punk um, on the title
Because we didn't
trail
see
because
CM
that's
Punk
way
come out with
overdue.
Roman, with Seth Rollins. We didn't see him come out and save anybody. We didn't, you know what I mean? So maybe they are trying to keep Punk away. We saw him push Gunther. There was a reaction with that. You're not crazy. So putting that bug in my head makes me think, like you said. So we get Gunther. He goes ahead and retains here. Drew gets the victory. Seth wins, but Roman returns. It's going to lead to a tag match with LA Knight, Roman, and one other of the, probably not Sammy, but somebody else in there
Yeah.
to go ahead.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Sammy's been written off.
Penta or
Apparently, he's asked like, and again, rumor and innuendo. Don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, the reason Sammy was written off by Karrion Cross this past Monday was because he's asked for time off for like undisclosed reasons. So,
yeah.
not going to speculate. It's not cool to speculate. I hope everything's good. I hope he's not going off to like deal with
I heard he
problems and
fell on his
whatnot.
toothbrush in the shower. So,
Oh, like Fusilli Jerry.
uh-huh. It's
Anyways,
rough.
I want Drew McIntyre to take out Randy Orton because as soon as Cody gets the title back from Cena, I want the next title feud to be Drew versus Cody because it's got not necessarily a boatload of history. If you want to go back to when they were tag champions back in the day, you can do that. But as far as like Cody in 2025, Drew in 2025, is it a match I want to see? Do I want to see what it looks like? Yes. But a lot of stuff has to happen before we get there. The other
Yeah.
reason I don't think Goldberg wins is I don't think WWE creates a situation where your two world champions in 2025 are Bill Goldberg and John Cena
I mean, it could
because
happen
they're open.
briefly if they did the cash in, but I don't see them doing that. I think Goldberg's
Yeah,
losing.
I will say I'll rephrase it slightly. I will open my mind to the idea that he wins. There's no way he leaves the building on Saturday with the title.
No way. Absolutely not.
Okay. So there's where we go. Because if we go like so push it forward, if we go into SummerSlam and the two defending champions are Bill Goldberg and John Cena, they're opening themselves up to some criticism there that I can't even really defend them from.
Yeah, at that point we're like,
What are we doing?
yeah, that's and boy, do you and I have to talk about that because when we get into that point, I mean, ooh, buddy, that's gonna be something because I mean, think about it. SummerSlam, Cody, Cena. Do we get a double turn? How do they handle the Cena heel stuff from here on out? It is not. It's not been a total failure, but it's not worked either. I mean, clearly this is not going as they thought it was going to, and it could have, but
I don't
it
know.
all got ruined
There's a
by The
lot of
Rock.
there's a lot of rejected turns in WWE right now, and it's I think there's a portion of the fans where it's like not necessarily shitting on the characters per se, but telling WWE, no, this is how we see this person.
Yeah, this
Deal with
doesn't
it.
work.
I don't think people are gonna. I know some people are clamoring for it because rumblings from AEW, whatever. I don't think people are going to jump on board with a Cody heel turn right now. That's just my opinion. As much as I personally can't stand her, a lot of people love Naomi, and a lot of people are refusing to see her as a heel.
And then they want
Um,
Blake Monroe already as a heel. Apparently,
they
there's
already want
that.
Blake. Well, they just see her as a heel because, oh my god, how dare you leave our company? But like even like the worse Karrion Cross is to people, the more he's getting cheered.
Yeah,
The scene of him leaving Raw, the cell phone footage of him leaving Raw and all the people that were chilling out outside waiting for him to come out
so cool.
is pretty fucking cool. I'm really happy for that guy. I hope it becomes something, but I'm really, really
I think
happy for
it's
that
going
guy.
to. I really do now because they had something with Sammy, and then some. Obviously, Sammy had to bail, but I think they're
Yeah.
starting at
But I
like
think it
that
says
was the
something,
start of it.
right?
Yeah,
Like there's basically I mean Big E if he came back to wrestling, right? But like Big E, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio. Do anything to any of those guys and you're going to be universally booed out of the building.
yeah,
Karrion Cross comes out and kills him. And what are they chanting? We want Cross.
the entire
And
time.
I don't know whether you get the promos during the commercials or whether you actually have
I use the
commercials. Did you
VPN
see
now to watch him. Yeah, I saw what he
okay.
said.
So
Yeah, I
so
watched
you
all
saw
that.
the interview from the gallery there? and they were chanting, "We want Cross." Well, you got me.
Yep. Love it.
I love, and this is what this is go. It goes back to like L.A. Knight. It goes to Jey Uso. It loves Karrion Cross. I love people that obviously people that I enjoy coming out and realizing over and over and over again that they're over. Like not coming out there and being like, yes, yes, everybody love me. So good, so fantastic. But like genuinely coming out and realizing how over they are every time.
Yeah, I mean,
Karrion Cross is doing it. Jey Uso's doing it in a kind of a different way. L.A. Knight kind of does like a bit of a conductor thing with the crowd, but he kind of does it. And the only like I default to the word genuine, but it's so genuine. Like the smile on Karrion Cross's face. I don't think you could have cut a heel promo there if he wanted to.
probably not. No, you
But
know?
yeah, I'm gonna turn heel on Saturday night's main event because I'm done talking about it. I don't have anything else to say. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton's gonna probably be really good. I want to see what they do, but again, it's gonna be like the Goldberg thing. I'm gonna care
Yeah.
while it's on my screen. I don't care now. I'm not gonna care at the beginning of the show. I'll care when the bell rings. I'll care when the other bell rings, and then I will move on with my day. Thankfully, because I will probably be coming off the buzz of a pretty decent NXT show. Great American Bash is emanating from Atlanta earlier on in the day. I think starting at like 3 or so, and it's a random show because
Yeah.
so much of it leans into Evolution the next night. So much of it is leading to Slammiversary on the other side of the thing, which is another cool thread we can pull later on down the line. This kind of feels like what we used to call like an elevated episode of NXT made into a pay-per-view. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but it's got a bit of the right kind of randomness to it.
Kinda, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Uh Javon Evans, Jasper Troy is gonna be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
I think it's kind of funny. Jasper Troy has come in to be the monster, or sorry, the new monster of NXT, and he's been put over by the only other guy the same size as him and the smallest guy on the roster.
Yeah. And
Uh, Javon
you
Evans is a star. Jasper Troy is very quickly getting everybody's attention.
they've been attacking each other in the back for a
Yep.
while now, and really, like, it didn't even start about interference. It was just a comment Jasper saying, or Javon, excuse me, saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be your time, but not before mine," and basically get out
Yep.
of my face. And that's all it took. And they've been killing each other since. I like Jasper being so violent. He's the 2017 "I'm not finished with you yet" Braun Strowman meme. Like,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love that he just came out of nowhere in the trainer's room to attack him for a second time, and then they did it in the ring for a third. Like, I like that. You know, it's funny. Like, that's the kind of
I
character
do
you
want to
want to
say though,
see.
it's a great comparison, and, like, with all due respect to Braun Strowman, obviously, I got no hate for the guy, but Jasper Troy doesn't exactly move like a zombie like Braun Strowman had to because of his various, like, health issues, like injury issues and whatnot. Um, Seeing somebody go face to face, toe to toe, blow for blow with, Obafemi, I mean, it's not a bad they did it with who did they do it with? I think it might have been I don't remember. Shit. Somebody debuted in NXT back in the black and gold era, and they won the breakout challenge, and then like the next week they were facing Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Can't remember who it was now because I'm a terrible
Oh
person,
God.
obviously. Yeah. Yep. Gonna bug me now. I'm not gonna go look it up though because I'm also lazy. Um, Javon Evans, sort of shaking off the lovable kid vibe, putting a little bit of bass in his voice when he's talking to people, and but still being the fun guy for the crowd is a
Yeah.
really cool thing to watch and watch him get better and all that kind of thing. Jasper Troy's new, so like anything he does is oh this guy can do this. Um,
Yeah. No doubt about it.
I don't know. I think this is either going to be Javon slays the giant or Javon sort of does the honors and gets thrown into the 5th row in 5 minutes. Um,
Yeah,
I think
possibly.
I think, but like Javon Evans has the crowd already. To be fair,
I think it's
in
going
a very
to be that
fun.
real fun David Goliath scenario here
Mm,
where Javon's just super fast and he's going to like avoid a corner splash and get the chance to, make his comeback kind of idea.
oh
Like
yeah.
that's what we're going to see.
I just mean that the crowd loved him pretty much from the day he showed up. So
Oh, absolutely. I'm
I'm
just saying
I'm
for
I'm
this
gonna
match, I think he's going to keep getting out of it, but I think Jasper's going to win in the end. Like he'll catch
yeah
him and then kill him with like a black hole type sidewalk slam, whatever he does, that thing
yeah
there, just completely bam into
yeah.
somewhere, kills him.
Yeah. No, what I was trying to touch on with the way the crowd has adopted Javon Evans so early, it's funny for me to say this. I think Javon can easily eat this loss.
Yeah.
You don't want to see him lose a bunch because I do
No.
want to see him like progress and whatever, maybe get back into the North American title picture or something like that. But I don't think a loss to this dude that could like eat him for lunch is gonna stifle that in the slightest.
Yeah, you usually don't
I'm going
think
to go with
so, but
Jasper. I'm going to go with Jasper on this.
I think Jasper's winning. Yeah, definitely. Jasper is going to go ahead and
Yeah.
just
I will
destroy.
say, unless it's the opening match. Because if it's the opening match, I
Uh,
could I could see them wanting to start it off on a really positive note.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Jasper. He's good. We've seen
Even
him
if
in
it is the
exactly 3
opening,
matches.
I think it still might be the opening. I think they're gonna have the upset, but Javon, like you said, he's got the support no matter what. It's not going to be like he lost it. It's just going to be
Mm.
like, oh, he just, the big man just overpowered
Oh
him.
no,
But
for sure. For sure. No, like it's the only thing that would stifle my prediction for Jasper Troy is if it's in the opener, maybe they give the feel good win to Javon. Other
yeah.
than that, I'm leaning towards Jasper. Speaking of the North American Championship, it's a match that we're revisiting. It's got a couple different dynamics now. Ethan Page, the champion, defending against Ricky Saints. What are we thinking about this?
Oh my God. I really liked the gauntlet match that they had to
Yeah.
build to this last night. Ricky Saints, I'm almost finished with the podcast that he's doing with Cody. It's a great
Mm,
listen, and he's always impressing me. Honestly, he deserves all the goodness that he's gotten. Like you said, I always felt like I
mm,
just needed a little bit of tutelage, like I was a diamond in the rough, and I'm like, yeah, I see that. I absolutely
mm.
see what he's getting at, and it's working. He's a real baby face through and through. The fans love him. He could be a great heel if need be, but right now people want to cheer him, and that's all there is to it. So I think. Yeah, I think we're going to see a title change. I think Ethan Page is going to lose the title to Ricky Saints here. Bit of a
You
hot
think he
potato.
clocks Vanity Project at some point during this match?
I
I
think
do think it's
so.
kind of cool that
I think
they
so. Yeah.
obviously Ethan Page is good. He's a heel. He's going to go get some backup wherever he can. The fact that he's scrounged up like 3 guys from Evolve and one's the Evolve champion, so they're always kind of carrying that Evolve title around, keeping that in the conversation. I think it's not a bad way to use the trope of I'm a bad guy, I better get some backup.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's not going to make a million people watch Evolve. Nobody's saying
No,
that, but
certainly
like
not.
who's gonna want more to get onto like regular TV, get onto Netflix is these guys that are stuck on Tubi. Like,
Yeah,
not to sound like a
exactly.
dick, but it is what it is. And I mean, what can I say for 2 guys that not that long ago got their call up from AEW, they're doing all right in the big time. I'm going with Ricky Saints as well for I'm a dickhead, it's fine.
It's got to
Fall
happen though, right? I mean, it feels like it.
I did think with it being a Falls Count Anywhere, will they use it to introduce a couple of baby faces from Evolve to counteract the Vanity Project?
Hmm.
Turn it into a very, very, very small version of
Like
the
a Sean
Bloodline Rules
Evans and
match.
whatnot. It could have
I
worked.
don't know the names. I don't know.
Yeah.
Br Bring in Cappuccino Jones and the guy that, like, cosplays as a Hardy Boy, and it'll be all good.
Yeah.
But, Falls Count Anywhere, these guys are gonna do something weird to each other. That neck spot that they did with Spears or with, Saints a while ago, on the open-ended bit of the chair was nasty, and that really wasn't even any kind of stepped up match.
No, it wasn't.
So, I mean, it's we got here in a pretty cliche way. Oh, beat the gauntlet, you might get a title shot, but if you get the title shot, you get to pick the stipulation. The GM was in the middle of the conversation, and people were shitting on Ava some more. It's fine. We got here in
I don't
some
get the
very.
excessive hate for her.
I
At
don't.
times, it's like, oh, she's the worst GM ever. She's terrible. And I'm like,
She's the daughter of The Rock. The Rock runs TKO. TKO runs WWE, and WWE is beating AEW.
yeah, feels about right.
That's how snaky the logic is. That is how sneaky the logic is. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I say, like in the match that was supposed to be a regular match, they pulled out that really gnarly looking spot. So now the idea is okay, now these guys are allowed to do all this stuff. What was the old like the shitty botched line between Batista and Triple H? We're having a street fight where where weapons aren't only encouraged, they're
They're
allowed.
allowed, yeah. Oh God.
But love Batista. Love all the success he's having with various like post WWE stuff. You know what else I love?
What's
Sol
that?
Ruka and Zarya. We got Sol Ruka defending her North American Championship against Izzy Dame from the Culling with Tatum Paxley in her corner because she's been manipulated. Zarya's on the outside looking like a pirate. It's fine. Sol Ruka Izzy Dame is it's gonna be an I don't have any worry about the title going anywhere. It's gonna be a showcase for Sol Ruka, and it's gonna be a bit of an exhibition for Izzy Dame, sort of away from the faction that she's in. Like, let's see what you can do. Because she ain't terrible, but she hasn't really been given a super spotlight,
No, certainly not.
and I like Paxley, so it is what it is.
I'm uh I'm wondering here if see, I really thought that the Culling might have taken those tag titles because those boys hadn't defended it in
Yeah.
something like 70 days. And I thought it would have been interesting to see Izzy Dame and the Culling, all together, the tag side have all titles, draped in gold kind of
Mhm.
idea.
Mm.
Still could be interesting to see Soul drop the title to Izzy Dame here, though. Does it
It could,
happen?
because
I don't know. I don't think it's
there's a
going to.
there's a vibe in the culling, and the culling is not the most exciting group in NXT. I don't think anybody's pretending that they are, but there is a little bit of a vibe of like Sean Spears, the master manipulator, has put this group together, but Izzy's doing a lot of talking, and Sean Spears ain't doing that much talking. And if she's the one that brings a title to the group, are they now kowtowing to her instead of Spears? I think that's a cool thing they can play with. Tatum Paxley being the like unwitting participant in the group is going to be fun. I wish Gigi Dolan was still here so that they could still be a tag team, but that's another story.
Right.
The other thing to keep in mind with this, as we'll talk about tomorrow, is Sol Ruka and Zarya. Whether or not Sol defends her title here, also have a tag title match tomorrow on Evolution. So, do they get strengthened as a unit on this Saturday, or is there some interference? Does Zarya try to help her and end up costing her the title? And now they've got a conflict going into the tag team match the next night. I think they've left themselves wide open a lot of storytelling device in the sense of there's this pay-per-view, but there's also this happening the next day. So they've
Yeah.
left themselves a lot of I think I said it already, but a lot of storytelling opportunity in that 24-hour period.
It seems like it, like they've gone ahead and had this happen, and there's a lot of storytelling there. I think the girls are going to end up being unified. I think they're going to work together as a unit so
Mm.
that they can head into the tag title match as a proper representation of NXT. I think they're going to
Yeah,
want
oh
them
yeah.
going forward as their, with their best foot forward kind of idea. So I think Tatum ends up costing Izzy the match here. And then they got to see whether or not do they punish Tatum or do they still accept her. I think that's going to kind of be the story.
Yeah. There's a
Because last
long-term
week they
story
said
of
they were
like,
so accepting of her, and oh, we're gonna take
yep,
care of you, all this stuff. And now it's like, well, if you cost Izzy the match, then what happens? So she kind of cost
yeah.
them the match of the tag titles the other day too. No, I mean, in a
But
way.
there's an opportunity as well where if, say, Tatum, and I'm full on fantasy booking at this point, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Say Izzy Dame loses because Tatum tried to help her and it didn't work. Sean Spears and the other members of the group kind of get mad at her. It's like, oh look, come on, we welcomed you in, and it would be really cool if Izzy was champion right now,
Yeah.
or it would be really cool if Izzy was a champion right
Right
now.
now.
So in that 24-hour period, what does Tatum do? Does Tatum turn on her former friends and take them out before Evolution starts? All of a sudden, Ava's in the back saying, "Oh my God, we don't have any representation for this tag match," and Tatum comes in and offers for her and Izzy Dame to be the representatives for NXT in that match as a make good to her faction for costing Izzy Dame the title the night before.
Exactly.
Like that, not maybe not necessarily that story, but they've left themselves that wiggle room to play with. It's like a couple of times last year when the NXT TNA thing was first starting, where there was an NXT and a TNA show either before or after each other. And it's like, oh, if this happens here, then this can happen over here. Zachary Wentz shows up in NXT with the X Division Championship and,
Y-
Roddy Roddy Raw.
Yeah, exactly.
And something we're going to get into a lot tomorrow is how this show and Evolution lead into to Slammiversary. So the ladies are all over the place,
They
but
are
but it's a lot of
indeed.
fun, and it creates a lot of for the writers, for the bookers, however you want to refer to them. It creates a lot of situations where you didn't lose just because you lost, which is good,
Yeah. No, that's very
which is
true.
good. And speaking
I
of build
just
for,
I was at one
sorry.
point kind of set. No, I was just set that Izzy Dane was going to win the other day, but now after the guys didn't win the tag titles, I'm really kind of set the other way. So
Mm.
I
I
think
think
my
I think
soundboard is
they're
freaking out in the background, and I'm trying to close it, but we'll see what happens.
all right. Very nice. What's awesome
Improv.
is when we do this, I can't hear it, so I
No,
won't know until later.
we'll find out.
Um, I think in this match we find out what the story of the culling is. Is the story a thing between Izzy and Tatum? Is the story Izzy trying to bring some gold to the group? Is the story, hey, maybe the guys don't want the girls to be the first ones to bring gold to the group? I think by the end of this match, we'll know what's going on with that group, let alone what's going on with the title and Soul Ruka and Zarya and Evolution and Slammiversary and blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. I
Yeah,
mean, if we turn this around and Soul Ruka and Zarya pick up the Knockouts tag titles, I mean, hey, who's to say?
it is a possibility.
Speaking of ladies tag teams, not necessarily a tag team title match, but a exhibition if there ever was one. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe taking on JC Jane and Fallon Henley ahead of Jordan Grace challenging JC Jane for the title the next night at Evolution. This
Very
is
right.
this is pretty cut and dry for me.
What do you think's
This
going
is
to happen?
Grace and Monroe are winning.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Now, this is going to lead into probably an unpopular pick for Evolution. So there's your ad for tune into when we talk about Evolution tomorrow night because I have a theory.
Muscle Muffin
But
is definitely winning. How do they not win? I mean, come on.
mm-hmm. Well, and it's not even because of Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is the one that needs to look good going into the title match tomorrow night. It's also the pay-per-view debut of Mariah May Blake Monroe, who's getting shit on by Tony Storm and Tony Khan and AEW and whatever. So let's feature her as much as possible.
Yeah,
I want to get your opinion because a lot of people thought it was really cheesy. The segment that they did on NXT this week where they were supposed to work out and then Blake Monroe's like, "Nah, come do
yeah.
like a come
Come be
do
beautified. Yeah.
your come get beautified and massage and whatever." Here's my take on this, right?
Okay.
It's an odd couple tag team, obviously. Blake Monroe, if we want to be derogatory about it, is the Barbie doll. Jordan Grace is the monster, right?
Yes.
10 years ago, the take on this would have been, I need to take you for a makeover because you can't be my tag team partner looking like that. And that would be how they would show that these are two different people. It's an odd couple tag team, right?
Yes.
I think the difference between that and this is there was no, you're doing it wrong, come do it my way. It was, look, we know you're a machine. We know you're killing it in the gym. I'm calling you at the gym because I know you're at the gym because you're that monster. Come do
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Come try this. Treat yourself. Take care of yourself. Feel good, and we'll go be a team.
Yes.
And this exact segment would be done with the opposite mentality like 10 years ago. And I think just looking at this, because it was a cheesy segment. Let's be real for a second. It was. It was
Yes.
the NXT brand of cheese.
But
I
this is what
but
NXT
with a much more
excels
positive.
at.
But this was like well, they excel in it, and I'm skipping that point because to me that point it's a bit obvious that they this like sort of pantomime kind of stuff. But it was such an example of something that is being presented so positively that would have been presented, like I say, maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, in a way that I couldn't defend because
Yeah,
in because
absolutely.
10 years ago, this would have been what's a good example? Lay Cool and Piggy James.
Yeah, but here's the thing, it's more than that because what it is it's more of them turned up to 11, and that's what we want to
Yes.
see. We want to see the characters, but also themselves, the blend of both. And NXT exemplifies character development. They really
Mhm.
do. They're great at these vignettes and moments and things like that. That's what made us like Zarya and Sol Ruka being a pair together, was those silly vignettes and the ice cream and all the funny stuff with it. That's what they're great at. That's what they excel at. That's what they need
Mhm.
to keep up with. So
And I'm sorry, I'm going to go back once again for the Marvel fans out there that are tired of me doing this. I'm sorry, but it fits. I'm going back to my Guardians of the Galaxy example. The audience cares more about stars that they can laugh with.
oh, absolutely. Anything you can
You can have
relate to and
you can
connect
have an
with.
underdog story. You can have an underdog feel good finisher story. You can have an underdog like Sami Zayn. You can have the story of Cody Rhodes. You can have somebody like Braun Breaker who's just fun to watch kill people. But if you can sit back, like mentally, I mean, if you can watch a scene or a segment or a little pantomime thing of these people just laying back and chilling a minute, stepping out, like they're going to the spa to get comfortable, but it's out of the comfort zone for somebody like a Jordan Grace because she's a machine.
Yeah,
If you can see them sitting back and chilling for a second and get the chill vibe and get the jokey vibe and get the, you know what, it's corny, but it's good corny. That's going to resonate with people more than a really long, drawn out, melodramatic, even something that I personally liked, like the final beat with Gargano and Ciampa back in the day.
yeah, that
I
people
really
didn't
liked it.
enjoy.
I people don't like good things, but people that you can sit and laugh and chill with and like people that are human and people that are kind of dickheads. This is why I constantly use the Guardians of the Galaxy example. Is Star-Lord a dickhead? Yes. If I lived in the MCU, would I chill with Star-Lord? Yes. Would I chill with
Absolutely.
Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe? Sure. Give me a manicure, pedicure, some weird fucking put your face in the massage chair thing. I'm going off on a tangent now.
I'm down for the
I really
massage, but I like the character development. I like
mm,
them becoming more of a team before they have to team up.
yeah,
There's
because
less of that. Can they
eventually they're gonna fight.
coexist? Yeah, eventually, but it's less of can they coexist and more, hey, look at this awesomeness.
I might be crazy, right? Because we assume Jordan Grace world
Well,
title
we
wherever
know
she
you're
goes, right?
crazy.
I would really love to see Jordan Grace pick up the North American title at some point
I would too. Here's the thing.
with the intercontinental type of mentality.
We're going to get into evolution, obviously,
Yes,
because
we will.
evolution then plays into Slammiversary, as we
Yes, it
said,
does.
because the women's title holder there goes on to face Masha, and they said it's title for title, but not a unification, I guess. So,
No, not a unification.
as we're
Um,
AEW, did you hear about this? I have to tell you quickly. Okada
oh no.
versus Kenny Omega. Title for title. We heard how it's going to be for the unified championship. They're not
Mm.
unifying the belts. They're going to be carrying around all three titles. That's
I think
just
I
for
said that
this.
the other night.
You jokingly like made a joke out of it. It's true now. That's why I'm bringing this up. Like you were being funny. They're actually doing it. Tony confirmed in the media call last night that no, the unified belt is just for this momentous occasion, but both the continental and the international title, the lineage and the titles will still stand. They're not being unified. So
So the
the
unified
unified
title is a
belt,
trophy.
Just for this match, yes. That they'll carry around until being beaten, yes. Yep.
I got nothing.
I
I got
did
nothing.
invite him to Danny's grad party. He sent me a heart and
I
said,
saw
"Hope we're
that,
doing
yeah.
well." But I mean, come on, what else do I got? You better send a gift, God damn it! Especially after that.
So I go back to my initial comment. They solved their problem of having too many belts by adding another belt. Um, Anyways,
Absolutely.
we're not doing that. Anybody that's listening to this, please go back one pod and please check out the very, very, very awesome, very fair, very unbiased, so good, so great, so wonderful. Our preview of All In, the yearly tradition that has become AEW All In. What the fuck is this show 2025?
Yes.
Um, as I say, I'm kind of holding back some of my thoughts on this tag match because they pertain to Evolution, they pertain to Slammiversary as well, and I'm going to tackle this in a much bigger way on the next pod because I think there's a longer conversation to be had about it. Long story short, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe are winning this.
Yeah, definitely. They can't not win this. I mean,
I do think it's
they're.
kind of unfortunate that JC Jane's pulling double duty and Jasmine Nix does not get to participate in either one of these matches.
I
So
know, right?
maybe she's still in the bad books. Maybe she's still being held responsible for whatever bullshit her partner said, which is nonsense. But
I don't
anyways,
think that's
shout
the case because if it was, they would find a way to like really exclude her, and I just don't think. I just think it's because Fallon's the former champ as well, so they're putting those two forward. I think that's all that is.
I think later on down the line, Fallon Headley, Jordan Grace as a singles feud, maybe towards the mid card title, and then Jordan Grace eventually like supercharging that mid card belt. Super awesome.
On her
Very
way
good.
out.
Very, very fantastic. Very, very, very awesome. I would never say that. That's what they tell me. Uh
It's
gonna
big
be
and
fun.
beautiful. I liked
Gonna
it
be
though. Surprisingly, I did. I enjoyed it. Made me laugh. I liked this far more than I liked something else that I think you'll be surprised at later. So
oh no. Oh no. Um, Sort of a side tangent because it doesn't really apply to either of the pay-per-views we're talking about this week. Um, Apparently Matt Cardona wants to put together a team to take out the Dark State.
yeah, because they've not done anything with those boys, and sometimes it feels like and I know they'd only have so much TV, so much they can do. Like people were complaining about Hank and Tank not getting title defenses, and it's like, well, where did you want to put them in though? Like, realistically, has there been anything on that really shouldn't have been there? Maybe a couple matches here or there, but not much. And that's the thing with NXT. They have a ton of talent, don't have enough time. So
But
that's why.
it is a positive shot in the arm for Hank and Tank. Kind of like the Outrunners in AEW, if I can throw a positive reference AEW's way. It's a good sign when people notice that you're not on the show. Like
Yeah.
Hank and Tank are a lot of fun. If people come out of an episode of NXT, they're like, "Oh, that was really good," but I was hoping to see Hank and Tank. Those guys are a laugh. Same thing. Similar things are being said about the Outrunners. Like, why aren't the Outrunners in the title situation over at AEW? I would love to see those two teams fight each other, but it's not going to happen. So it sucks that they're not on the show. It's awesome that people are talking about the fact that they're not on the show because it means that they've resonated with people and they've resonated with people to the point where people are happy that they have the titles and hope it's not like a what do you call it, like a paper champion,
Yeah.
transitional champion type of like you said, like if it had gone to the culling, it would feel like they were put in that very transitional spot, kind of where everybody assumes JC Jane is in that transitional spot right now. But again, we'll talk about that more on tomorrow's pod.
Yes, indeed. So much to
Um,
cover tomorrow. I mean, my goodness.
But I think it's kind of maybe it's a free pass for NXT, but I mean, like we have Dark State, we're not really doing anything with them right now. Let's go have them invade TNA. It's kind of cool that they have that in their back pocket a little bit.
Yeah.
I also like the team of Joe Hendry and Mike Santana versus High Rise this week. I thought that was a lot of fun. Obviously, it's to set up the triple threat match for Slammiversary. That's what I almost forgot to put in my notes.
Oh.
We should talk about the TNA segment that's happening at the Great American Bash.
That was the last thing that I wanted to bring up to you. So
Well, we
this
still have a title match to
yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah. I'm
about,
saying
but
before we get to
yeah.
the main event, I said I wanted to bring this up before that. So
Oh, okay.
this I feel like is a great segment to have because they've got basically all in all I think this was like a perfect ad. It makes the show
Mm.
feel important. It makes Slammiversary feel very important. Like it just all together, I feel like it did smart things.
Yeah.
So I like what there's not much to preview or predict here. Somebody's getting put through a table. I think Santana is going to be the one standing tall. That's my guess here.
Mm.
We'll see. But yeah, all in all, I'm excited they added this to the show because again, it just makes it more must see. I like seeing Trick Williams lay everybody out after the high rise tag match. That was good.
Mhm.
Santana looked really good in the match. Obviously, they highlighted both him and Hendry.
And for the
Um,
people that say that this is not benefiting TNA, they're dedicating a segment of their pay-per-view to preview your pay-per-view. Now, they're
yes.
not previewing the whole card, obviously. There's going to be tie-ins with, like we said, with the women's champion versus champion match as well. So there's going to be a lot of, like, even more than there already is TNA talk on NXT and WWE, etc., because more of the stars are going over there.
Yes, and we'll be reviewing Slammiversary on the channel as well, so that's going to be
Yeah, we will.
exciting. Can't wait for that. I like that they added this though. It just gives it, like you said, a bigger feel to TNA, pushes more of that emphasis back to them, which you don't always seem people to understand that they're doing that.
Yep.
So it's nice to do it on like a big, broad stage. Like here, we're putting over your title. Like that's pretty cool. So I'm happy for
Putting
that.
over your show. Because Slammiversary, people always say like that watch way more TNA than I do. There's sort of a toss up of like what's their WrestleMania? Is it Slammiversary? Is it Bound for Glory? Why not both?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like we're trying to turn SummerSlam into another WrestleMania. Why can't they have two WrestleManias? AEW will be good when they figure out how to do one. It's a different story for a different day.
WrestleMania
But
and
yeah,
SummerSlam both main evented by the same match too, Cody and John again. So
I think they move it to night one for
they made the
SummerSlam.
announcement that it's going to be night 2 of SummerSlam. It's the main event.
Well, fuck me then.
Yeah, they were doing it on a New York
Thanks, Jake.
website. Sorry to crush your
Oh,
dreams there, but
oh no.
Milo wasn't happy either. It says on amnewyork.com, AM New York. Cody Rhodes, John Cena headline inaugural 2-night SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. So they're doing the night 2 headlining. They'll be there for August 3rd, and like I said, Milo's not happy either.
Well. Anyways, I think it's gonna be cool. I really like Mike Santana, and selfishly, when he decides his time is up with TNA, I hope he comes to WWE. But I don't want it to necessarily be the WWE
He's
stole
one I
another one
don't
thing.
see coming, honestly. I
Yeah.
feel like he's older and it's just gonna be like he'll do really well in TNA and then maybe do some independent stuff after that. But
Mm,
unless you're like super over, I don't see WWE consuming a lot of older talent at this point.
mm. Oh, I could also flip what I just said. I could also see him being the guy very happy to show up in WWE a lot representing TNA.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at who they have over in TNA and how many people they've gotten rid
Mhm.
of from the WWE side that still have a great deal of life to offer the wrestling business. So,
Oh yeah. Apparently, this is switching to another tangent right now. One of the
yes.
ones that was released recently in the last batch of releases was Shayna Baszler. Apparently, she popped into NXT on Tuesday, just like as a independent contractor or whatever, and she produced the or helped produce the Kalani Jordan match we saw on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. I had
Yeah,
heard that earlier and I'm like, that's pretty damn cool. I'm happy to hear
I think
it.
that's awesome.
And she's another one, like she wasn't getting any younger or any more talented and needed to have more famous friends like Rhonda still in the business. And she didn't.
Yeah,
The four horsewomen got forgotten about pretty quickly, but I'm glad to hear 2 months after release, she's already doing something very well.
yeah,
And being a producer, I mean, you don't lose that wrestling in
brain. Yeah,
ring, yeah, because you get to keep going and WWE is causing a bunch of speculation because they put out an AJ Lee retrospective today about her story on their WWE YouTube. So Newsweek was reporting on that. They're like, WWE causes a massive AJ Lee return rumor. I don't see it
Apparently they put
happening.
apparently they put out a bunch of footage leading up to first AJ and Paige facing each other, but also obviously AJ and Paige versus the Bellas at WrestleMania,
Yep.
which was the match that, made us say this is what we want to do, this is what we're walking away from. And yet in 2025 we have Nikki Bella at the all women's pay-per-view, and I kind of
Yeah, like you
am
said, the
sad.
Vault uploading Paige versus AJ Lee for the Divas title. Then they went ahead and had the tag match at Mania, and then they had the story of the rise of AJ Lee from 2013 to 14. So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't think she's coming back. I think it's just because it's evolution time,
Mm.
So
I
it
think
would
it'd
be
be
great
real.
to see her back. I'd love it. I just don't see it happening.
I think it'd be a really fun bait and switch because they did her versus Paige, or sorry, they re-uploaded her versus Paige. They re-uploaded her and Paige versus the Bellas, and a lot of people are speculating that means she's coming back. If the swerve is that it was to get us ready for Paige coming back instead, I'm also very okay with that.
Yeah.
I want Paige to do something. Even like I think I said it in a couple of pods ago. I want her to. I don't want her to have a bazillion titles and main event every WrestleMania or anything like that. Have her pop up back in NXT and do some fun shit. Do Paige versus Tatum Paxley.
Yeah. No kidding.
Have her friggin' have a stare down with you know, uh Blake Monroe. Like her whole thing was like the anti diva. So her versus Blake Monroe could be a lot of fun. There's a lot of like you said before, a lot of character work to play with there.
Yeah, they're adding Jordan
And
Grace right now to 2K25 as well. Bull
nice.
Nakano, Penta, New Jack, and YouTuber turned boxer and wrestler KSI. Gotta
Oh
have him
good.
in there, right? But New
Does
Jack
he have
gets
his
his own entrance where he comes out with a trash can full of weapons that you could use. So people are excited about that.
nice. Nice. Very, very cool. Yeah, you get Janice if you play with Abyss as well.
That's awesome.
Uh, I'm just really happy that they got Abyss's, like, actual, like, first music because he had his original music for a long ass time, and then TNA kinda played with it for a bit when they were at the beginning of when they first started putting the Decay group together, so I'm glad they got his original music, and bringing it back around, that's another thing about Paige coming back because Paige's WWE music was awesome. Not to say that I didn't like the music that she had when she was Saraya in AEW, because that wasn't bad either. But the
Yeah.
original Page music with that big squeal at the
Yeah, it
beginning,
was great. And
it would solve the whole Royal Rumble, like, whose music is that? Wait, who's coming down now?
yeah, I have to say Jordan Grace's new music, not to just hop on the bandwagon, but it's terrible. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really
I
bad.
get it though, because the other music she was using, it was, like, so
Yeah,
solidified to her because she owned it.
yes. So,
So I get, like, there is that thing of, like, WWE wants to own it, and I get it, and I guess if she sold it to WWE to use while she's there, she was worried she might not get it back, which is fair enough from both sides, I guess. Also people speculating that, you didn't want 2 wrestlers with sirens,
yeah.
which was never a problem when Jordan Grace and Scott Steiner were both in TNA. But, it's the crazy wacky world of wrestling that we live in. Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura, because I'm getting tired, not gonna lie. This is a lot. I really love that Yoshiki's getting this opportunity. This, if we're gonna get a surprise this weekend, I
Yeah.
think this would be the one I would pop for the most.
Probably. Yeah. No, no doubt
Mm.
about it. Like this would be the biggest. Absolutely.
I think he's a lot of fun. I think the friggin' like what he's gonna like the video game charge up splash that he does where he's like bouncing on the top turnbuckle until he does the thing. But he's doing that, hey, I'm a fun guy. We're all here to have fun, da 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 da. But motherfucker, take me seriously. And by the way, listen to my big buddy over here.
Yeah.
Um, Josh Briggs doing some decent promo work on Tuesday. I don't know whether you want to completely have somebody else talking for your number one contender. I think I'm willing to say, for the people that have said it online already, I think he overstepped a bit too much in the promo, unless that's the point. And if that's the point, then we got a different kind of thing. Like, if
Crazy.
they're because they're friends, and if he comes in there and to the defense of his friend, and it ends up costing Yoshiki, and they don't necessarily have to split. Like, one of them doesn't have to turn heel or whatever, but Josh Briggs ends up on his own again. He does have another former tag team partner kicking around the performance center
That's very true.
with Brooks Jensen, who got kicked out of the culling, and we haven't seen him since. You know, Brooks Jensen, what Jungle Boy would look like if he was an adult. Uh, I'm an asshole. It's fine. But no, I like Josh Briggs. You told me about Josh Briggs closer to when he first joined NXT. It's like, yeah, you're gonna like this guy. He's gonna truck people. And I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he does.
And he does
Um,
indeed. Here's the thing: I'm not excited about this at all, and it's mostly because of the booking and how they handled it.
about the match.
Yes, I know the match is going to be
Okay.
good, but I know Inamura is not going to win. He stands no chance. And they made it seem like he needs Briggs's help. Like Briggs stepped up to punch Femi in the face, and then Inamura got the best of him. But it's weird how they got here too. Like he pinned Trick, but he's not going to face Trick. Briggs did, but then Briggs lost. So why does Inamura get to face him? And then yeah, he beat Jasper, but I don't know. Like it was a weird way to get to the match, and then I feel like it's just very, already just has that stink of we know that what's going to happen. Just
I
it's a
think we know what's gonna
real
happen. I think we're in a position right now, Obafemi, and Obafemi is like, I don't know what you want to call it. Like when you see like little kids movies about like the jungle and the forest and all that kind of thing, and all the animals in the jungle come around because suddenly there's a statue and nobody knows how it got there, so all the animals just kind of gather around. I kind of feel like it's a really shitty metaphor, sorry for everybody listening,
Mhm.
but I kind of feel like that's what they have to do in NXT right now, because the focus is on the women, not just because of Evolution being this weekend as well, but the focus has been on the women for a while,
yeah.
which is fine. You can
Because
have a
who was
female
ready to
based.
step up on the men's side for the title? Really, who?
That's fun. No, the answer is nobody.
That's the problem. So
And if
they
you
had to
don't,
do something. I get it, but
if you don't, but here's the thing, and I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. If you know you don't have a legitimate contender for Obafemi, and you're still doing pay-per-views and you want to have your champion on the pay-per-view, a series of exhibition matches that are just, let's see what this looks like. It's how we got Miles Bourne last month, and we knew he wasn't, or I was pretty damn sure he wasn't
but there
winning,
was at least a
but it
little
was,
bit of hope there. There was something. There was buzz. Like when they did the
yeah.
triple threat with Javon and Trick, you're like, all right, he could lose the title. With this, it's such a foregone conclusion, put it on a
Mhm.
shirt still, but it feels empty. Kind of this is the one thing here that feels like soulless to me, and I'm not even 100% sure why. Just to me, I wish I was more with it, but I think it was the logic to get here met with the match probably is just not going to be that interesting. Obafemi's
You're kind of
awesome.
disinterested because you don't have the doubt.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
it's just it's not grabbing me at this point. Sadly, I wish it did because I love Obafemi, but this match is just
See, and this is the opposite of like what we said about some of the Saturday night's main event matches where it's like, I'm pretty sure I know where this is going, so let's just do it.
yeah,
I don't think the way they're booking this, they ever intended you to like, oh my god, like bite your nails, bite your nails. With Miles Bourne, yeah, there was a lot of hope. He got a chance to come out and cut promos and talk a little bit about his personal life and get people behind him and whatever. But ultimately, we had already been talking about Miles Bourne and what a outstanding like standout from the NQCC he was.
yeah.
I'd love to see him step up and try something.
They just went
That's where
super basic with the promo from Inamar as well, and I don't know if it's just the faux language barrier, but they had like, "I fight for honor, I reckon the title." Oh, like that's literally what he
okay,
said.
that part of it's not ideal. I'm not even gonna argue with you on that. But the
So
whole but people that are not,
for
and I
honor.
I keep landing on Miles Bourne as the most uh recent other example, right? But I'm not looking at this match as a hey, convince me that he's going to win.
No,
We don't have anybody on the roster right now that I'm convinced is going to beat Obafemi,
no. I
right?
mean,
So what we have
maybe if
right now,
Ethan Page wasn't the NXT North American champion, they could do a little bit to rehab him back into the main title picture
yeah,
easily.
they could convince you that he's going to cheat his way to winning.
Yes.
But no, but here's my point though, and this is where I'm probably giving it a free pass, and I'm giving it a wide free pass, you could say, right? Because there's nobody in NXT right now that I think is going to unseat Obafemi. I think they're taking an opportunity for some people that are variably seen as mid-card guys that we would say, "Hey, I wanna know what they at least look like in the main event scene." And you do that by having them have a valiant effort against the champion even when you know they're not gonna win, because next time when Obafemi moves up to the main roster and the title's on somebody else, like if they elevate Ricky Saints and Ricky Saints is the one that eventually becomes the next champion, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say that happens for an example, right?
Yeah.
Then when things come back around to the battle royal and Miles Bourne that we never thought was going to win the first battle royal wins this one, and you thought, you know what? Last time he stepped up into that main event spot and tried to grab the bull by the horns, he didn't win. He didn't get it, but man, he tried.
Yeah, he came
And
close.
that's what that match served. I don't think there's any failure in the Miles Bourne character in the fact that he didn't win, because I didn't think he was going to win. It was a case of let me see what you look like in the main event spot. And I think that's what they're giving Yoshiki Inamura here. We're not talking about him as a main eventer. We're not talking about him as a contender. The job of this match is he's going to lose, but next time he's in that spot, we will at least see him as a contender. I think that's what the purpose of this is. I'm pretty
I
sure this won't be the main event.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it's going to be the main event. I think the women's tag match might be. If
Probably.
not, if not, maybe you could argue the North American title because it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, but I doubt it. If anything, I think it'll be the women's match, but more than likely, the men's might, because they have Evolution the next night. They might give it to the men as like a make good in a way, but
Yeah.
I just don't view Inamar yet on that level. So they have hopefully this match will bring him to that kind of
Mm.
level for me, and then I will see him as in future times a main event challenger. But right now I don't, so it's a real hindrance for me. I feel like he wasn't ready, and well, shit, nobody was, and then you're like, so that's kind of
Mm.
like the downfall of it, unfortunately. I'm
Yeah,
not.
but I think right now, because right now you hear Yoshiki Inamura title, and your instant reaction is, well, he's not a main event guy, right? So even if he goes into this match on Saturday and loses, he's not any lower in your mind. He's just sort of where you thought he was. If he goes in there and busts his ass and chucks Obafemi around like an empty tracksuit before getting his ass kicked,
Yeah,
next time he goes up against the next champion, whoever that is,
we
you're going
might
to think, well,
consider him
okay,
a better chance.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
certainly. It has that
I think,
option. I hope so.
yeah,
I'm hoping we walk away, Mr. Positive, with something out of this, and that is the
yeah,
possibility. I'm just
yeah,
not sure they can get it here. I think they shot themselves in the foot by giving us the Jasper Troy match the way they did. I think they should have
yeah.
saved that for here, because he was really like the next good challenger. I don't think they needed to have that match on TV for whatever reason. So,
I I would agree, only that the logical part overrides a little bit and says there's a good chunk of the audience that doesn't even watch NXT. Nobody, in the grand scheme of things, please don't take this the wrong way. In the grand scheme of things, if you're trying to get people to watch an NXT show, nobody gives a fuck about Evolve,
oh,
right?
absolutely
And
not. Yeah.
I think the appeal of him having the random match with Obafemi on NXT was like, holy fuck, this guy just showed up last week and he thinks he deserves a title shot. Obafemi laughing him off and saying, okay, let's go. It was one step away from being an impromptu match. And because you're supposed to go in like, oh, this guy that's been here a week is going to get his ass kicked by Obafemi. And the surprise of that is he didn't die right away.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't think you can tell that story if you're doing it to a pay-per-view, because with a pay-per-view, you're gonna build it. It was the out of nowhere element that made that a perfect TV title match.
Yeah, exactly.
This has one purpose. This has one purpose again, like the Jasper Troy, like the Miles Bourne, like the whatever. Oba's gonna beat him. His victory is gonna be that he doesn't beat him immediately.
Yeah,
And
and
I think either way,
I don't always need to believe like someone's gonna win either. I just don't believe that he needs to be in this match. That was kind of the problem I guess I was having. And hopefully this will rehab that issue for me by making it
okay.
valid for the next time. And we'll certainly see, but it just doesn't feel Great American Bash worthy, I guess. I was looking for
So
something
would you,
bigger.
from your point of view, like I've said what I think the job of this match is. Would your point of view then be I don't think he even belongs in this match. His job is to prove me wrong.
Yeah, hopefully. I think that that's a
Okay.
good way to put it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
let him, set out
That's
to
absolutely
prove
fair.
to me that he deserves to be in that title spot.
I
Make
think the
make me a
Miles
believer
Bourne
that he's a contender because Miles did, and
yeah, this is the thing. I think the Miles Bourne thing did something for more than just Miles Bourne. I think they wanted to throw somebody in there. It's like, okay, if we give them somebody totally random, it was the NXT equivalent of Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble.
yeah, it gave him
If we
that.
give them somebody like that, we can give them somebody that they like, but they see it a certain place and put them in a different place. Will the crowd follow them? And I think they did with Miles Bourne, which is going to give them more more confidence as bookers, writers, whatever, to try it again. And if they're going to get into this habit of, or not this habit, but this current role that they're on of, here's Obafemi, nobody's beating him, we might as well try some people. I think NXT going through an experimental era
Yeah.
is really fun, especially as I say, and the credit goes back to the
Non
ladies.
2.0.
Yeah, God, let's
Mm,
not. That didn't happen. The Men in Black flashy thing, that whole fucking bullshit.
neuralize it.
But the other thing about this is Miles Bourne kind of proved that it could work. And the other side of the coin is, and this is where I got to give credit to the ladies are holding up the show right now. So
Yeah.
even if the Obafemi Yoshiki Inamura match falls apart, Sol Ruka, Zarya, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Jordan Grace, Blake Monroe, JC Jane, Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix are all there to pick up the pieces, let alone Ethan Page, Ricky Saints as well. But this is the whole, like, if the guys were running the show and the ladies division was faltering, then I would say throw all your cards out on the table and start doing some experimental shit with the ladies. Pause. Uh, but I think this is the kind of random thing that they can play around with when the ladies are the stronger thing on the show right now. I think that's an unforeseen benefit of how strong the women's division is right now.
Absolutely. And it is
Anyways,
one strong division indeed.
yeah, and we're going to see it flex on Sunday as well, but we will talk tomorrow about that show. I got you out in a really decent amount of time tonight. Look at me looking for all the hard outs.
Look at that. Being
Why don't
snazzy,
you
my friend.
tell them where to find you, buddy?
You can find me over on YouTube. It's Jake Countdown Ended DeMarco, or you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter/X, and on Rumble, all at Countdown Ended as well.
All right, and you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I have been Spaz. This has been Jake. We've talked about how we don't really care about Saturday night's main event, and I've tried to convince Jake of the main event of the Great American Bash.
You talked me into
Anyways,
it.
subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me and Super Sexy Jake tagging out. Bye, guys.